First World Problems by PWA. Okay, already they're throwing away a bottle. Are you gonna recycle that? No, says America. Recycling is dumb. We all recycle over half of our plastics. Are you calling us dumb? Says South Korea. Yes. You don't care about the environment? Asks Austria. No. We're gonna, gap it to Mars? Oh yeah, don't we, like, launch stuff into space sometimes? Who cares, Germany? What about the 11.6% of your population who are in poverty? They can stay. Capitalism, oh, we're saying that we don't need to recycle because we're going to Mars anyways, I see. At least I'm not as bad as Costa Rica. He dumps 550 tons of plastics into his water. Oh, everyone looks at Costa Rica. 80% of it is into the ocean. I'm trying to change, guys. Between 2015 and 2017, I increased recycling by almost 500%. Nice. The number, I mean, obviously recycling isn't nice. I also banned single-use plastic from national parks. Very nice, Costa Rica. Now you're just flexing. What will it take for you to start recycling? I already recycle sometimes. How much? 5%. 5%? Okay, I guess it could be worse. Well, that 5% also includes plastics I just burn instead of recycle, so it might be a little lower. Is that real? Of course, there's a reason he's talking to Germany, South Korea, and Austria. These are the top countries that recycle the most. Germany recycles 67% of all municipal solid waste. That's almost 2/3. That's crazy. Meanwhile, South Korea is almost at 60% as well. Meanwhile, we here in the US are way down here. I think maybe in 20th place if we're lucky. Actually, we're in 24th place to be exact. Meanwhile, yeah, Costa Rica literally at the very bottom of the list. What about this? You seriously believe in global warming? Yep, says Canada. Sheep. What? 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 Actually, it's oh, not a sheep. Oh, that's what you're talking. Oh, that's why his eyes went like that. I'm a what? A sheep. Oh, I get what he's saying. You're a sheep because I see. There's a little bit of a confusion going on because of the hat. I think the room's flooding. You're flooding. What does that even? Don't question it. No, I seriously think the room's flooding. And gullible is written on the ceiling. I love how the US is basically Cartman from South Park. I just meant the global warming thing. Okay, oh, nice. I like how it actually sounds like we're underwater as well. Can country balls breathe or bleed too? I guess we're gonna find out. I don't see why country balls need to consume oxygen. What is happening? Is it just a stare down? Please. What is this? Okay, it's actually getting a little bit intense. How are their glasses not floating away? What am I watching? What? He's just gonna say sheep, is he not? Oh my goodness. I don't know how much longer I can take of this. How close? Oh, I see. Okay, I see. Puaza. What? How are we gonna divide it? Huh? What do you mean? Like, how many slices each? Isn't it already sliced up? Well, there's 6 slices, so 3 each? Ew, what are you, a communist? What? No, we're just sharing pizza. Then why are you suggesting we divide the pizza equally? Because that's fair. It should be divided proportionate to who's got the most money. That doesn't make any sense, says Canada. Welcome to the real world, kiddo. I want to see them actually divide it based off of money, though. Like, how much would they get? Maybe I should get all the slices, says Canada. Hang on. It was my idea to order in the first place. Well, who paid for it? So you owe me royalties. How much? 3 slices. Deal! Oh, that's hilarious. 4 slices. You said 3. I forgot to include taxes. What? You're taxing your own pizza? Actually, give me the whole pizza as a loan. I'll charge you 1,000% interest. Deal. Really? How do you plan on paying me back 10 pizzas? You don't have to pay back loans, silly. Oh, according to the US, yeah. That's how we've been doing it. We don't pay back the loans. Right? There, I knew that's what we're gonna. Oh my goodness, is it at 31 trillion now? That is such a hilarious idea. The reason why we're in debt is that we forgot. Oh, we actually have to pay that back. I didn't think we had to do that. Yep, over the past 100 years, the U.S. federal debt has increased from 408 billion to 30 trillion in 2022. How comforting. I think we could do the math in our head though, exactly how you'd have to divide the pizza if you take the U.S. GDP, which is 25 trillion, versus Canada's GDP, which is basically, can we just say it's 2? Because they make the math a lot easier. Okay, so if you divided the pizza by who makes the most money, Canada wouldn't even get 1/10 of a slice. This doesn't seem fair. They just don't have enough population. Again, that was all by PWA. Please go subscribe. Country's readiness for a zombie invasion by Forceman Countryballs. Oh, I'm excited about this one. I literally have been talking about this for a couple months now. Following indicators were used to calculate the index: number of armed forces per person, number of civilian firearms, population density, country geography, average temperature. Yeah, population density is actually going to work against you, I think. You don't really want that, which means Japan might be in a lot of trouble. India.
38. Some emergency preparedness, but high population density, weaker healthcare system, and lower levels of technological
India would, I think,
development.
struggle a little bit. There's so many people. #1 most populated country on Earth. Well, they got a 38 out of 100. I feel like I would agree with that. They do have some pretty good terrain, though, they could hide in. Now, most of their population lies right here in this strip, but there's also a large chunk of people down here. I guess if you're along the coast, you can get into a boat and just, you know, try to survive out in the ocean. If enough people, like, escaped into the Himalayas, though, that would probably be a very good idea. Well, very good. You need to be able to survive the Tibetan plateau and then getting over these mountains. But at least you won't get eaten by zombies. Maybe just bears or something. I feel like I agree with a 38 out of 100. Now China. Okay, now I personally rank China
47.
very low.
Strong military, advanced
Better
technology,
than
and well-organized civil defense system.
India.
But high population density and access to accurate information could be a challenge.
The population density, of course, is going to hurt them. Again, India and China can kind of maybe run to the same spot. I guess it really depends on what part of China. China is a very giant country. Obviously, if you're someplace right in the middle of all this red, yeah, you're in a lot of trouble. But if you're in more rural spots, then, you know, who knows? Next up, we have South Korea. South Korea is interesting. 51, better than China.
Defense system, highly educated
They're
and technologically advanced population.
True.
High population density could be a challenge.
Yeah, it's the high population density is actually working against them. Think about South Korea. They're also kind of like basically an island because North Korea, even in a zombie apocalypse situation, is probably not going to, just welcome them with open arms. We're going to do Japan next. Yes, Japan. So Japan's going to do better. Well, Japan is an island.
High level of disaster preparedness, advanced healthcare system, and disciplined and resourceful population.
Another thing we have to ask ourselves is what type of zombies are these? Are these, is the infection just going through the air and it's just infecting everyone? Or is there a chance that Japan can just shut down their ports and their airports and harbors and just stay safe on their island? Then they'd be maybe one of the best places to be. France?
France 60. Well-established healthcare system and strong military presence. But high population density could be a challenge.
And they're also just surrounded by, they do have mountains guarding them from the south. Do they have still have that Maginot Line? It'd maybe be protected physically from Spain. I guess it could be worse. I would assume Germany would be in a worse spot than France. Possibly. Australia's got to be pretty high up there.
Australia 64. Australia's harsh environment has led to a culture of self-reliance
and population density is so low.
The country also has a well-organized disaster response infrastructure, including the Australian Defence Force.
Only about 25 million people live there. It's a giant continent. Australia would be a very nice place to be during a zombie apocalypse, in my opinion.
Germany,
oh, interesting.
68. Well-organized civil defense system, strong economy, and high level of technological development.
That's true. If you have tanks, we've talked about how OP tanks are in, reality against zombies. Just no movies like to discuss that. I'm just looking at this from a physical geography perspective. Germany is pretty militarily advanced, but look at this. They're smack dab in the middle of all this. Yeah, maybe the Alps are down here, but if there's a big enough wave of zombies that starts to grow out of Eastern Europe, and then they just start waves of invasions through Poland, I don't know. That'd be tough for Germany. Again, it all depends on what type of zombies we're talking about. Every zombie universe has different modes of transmission and things like that. Germany does have the Autobahn, which is good infrastructure, if they can keep that, cleared and stuff like that. UK, I agree. Very good.
United Kingdom 72.
I agree with that.
Strong
I don't know how well Northern Ireland would do. Maybe.
High population density in
if Ireland can keep it together.
Challenge.
Yeah, I agree. UK would be a pretty good spot. I'd put UK and probably Japan closer together. Japan's population density would be the problem, though. They got a lot of people.
85. The US has a high level of military readiness and gun ownership. Additionally, there are many survivalists and preppers who are well equipped to handle disasters.
It's a big country. I still would rather be on an island, though. Put me on Australia, to be honest. That's like my favorite. If I could choose to be anywhere during a zombie invasion, it's definitely Australia. I'd rather try my chances of not getting eaten by zombies and just trying to survive in the outback, although that's really not going to be fun. Again, that was by Forceman Countryballs. Please go subscribe. Why Countries Like Each Other by Pop-Up Data. So we have the UK and Portugal alliance. This is one of the oldest alliances around. They are old friends. We have the Saudi Arabian-Pakistan alliance, nuclear power, first nuclear power Islamic countries, USA and Israel. China and Iran, both countries consider USA as their biggest threat. We could probably throw Russia into that little tri-pact as well. Russia and Indonesia. Russia was the first country to recognize Indonesia. Is that? Wow. I didn't know that. I actually didn't even know they were friends. The very, very first country to recognize Indonesia was Egypt, though, in 1946. Because remember, during WW2, this was the Dutch East Indies. After that, these islands would become independent. Germany and Italy. Both countries are members of NATO. They are also members of a different team that we're not going to talk about. China and Pakistan. China always helps financially when Pakistan needed. Also, China, doesn't really like India too much. They're going to help out Pakistan. Singapore and the Philippines, due to same culture, similar cultures. Turkey and South Korea. Turkey helped South Korea during Korean War. Oh, wow. I didn't know about that. India and Israel stance on bad things. Russia and Serbia, due to good historical connection, that's for sure. Dating back before even WW1. USA and Japan, because of USA-Japan treaty after WW2 just dropped 2 sons, and Japan was like, hey, you know what? You want to be friends instead? Sometimes that works. Brazil and Argentina, due to strong economic relation. That's a funny one to see those two together, but I'm sure they do have a lot to work towards together with their economies. Romania and Moldova, due to pro-Romanian sentiment in Moldova. Iranian and Russia. Oh, this is exactly what we're talking about. Exactly. They're despising of the USA and the West. India and Russia. Russia used 6 vetoes to save India at the UN. And also there's plenty more behind that. Nepal and Bhutan, due to same cultural link. That's definitely true by the Himalayas as well. UK and USA, both countries fought together in WW1 and WW2. Canada and the USA, due to common interests. China and North Korea, due to same ideology. China helped North Korea in the Korean War. Of course, it goes way deeper than all this, but I mean, there's really not a lot of space to work with. So for the most part, with only a couple words, this is doing a great job. Both countries hold the same opinion about Russia, USA and Ukraine. USA and India, both countries want to reduce Chinese supremacy in the world. There's such an interesting diplomatic geopolitical situation going on there with China, Russia, India, the US. Netherlands and Canada helped each other in WW2. Australia and New Zealand, they are literally best buds over there. They're in the corner of the map. They gotta be. And similar past histories. Malaysia and Bangladesh, both countries are members of Organization of Islamic Cooperation. Spain and Italy, both are members of European Union. Similar histories. They got the Rome stuff too. They're all South Mediterranean. Finland and Sweden, both countries consider Russia as their biggest threat. It's funny how sometimes geographically being next to a country can pull you together, and sometimes it could literally tear you apart. Finally, Russia and China, due to personal interest both against USA. I like this. Bear Panda versus Uncle Sam. I think we should have been an eagle, though. Part 2 about what countries like about each other. Vietnam and Cuba, definitely friends because of communism. They both adopted that at similar times as well, kind of. Philippines and South Korea. The Philippines was first from Asia to help South Korea in the war. I actually knew about that. China's helping Nigeria reduce poverty. We have Turkey and Azerbaijan, brotherhood, Turkey's energy security, Iraq and Indonesia. Interesting. I didn't actually know about that friendship too much. India and Nepal, of course, very good friends. I like how we have kind of country humans down here. Serbia and Greece, both predominantly Orthodox Christian countries. I actually just was learning about that little friendship that they have going on. Indonesia and Malaysia, definitely similar cultural heritage as well. Hungary and Poland, they're friends, Battle of Warsaw. I mean, they've been buddies. I've heard about that friendship for a while. Pakistan and Malaysia, due to the same religious structure. Russia and Kazakhstan. And, there's the Soviet Union alliance that helped them become friends. Poland and USA both like each other because of common strategic interest. Bulgaria and Greece both consider Turkey to be their biggest threat. Bulgaria considers Turkey as well to be interesting. Montenegro and Russia, Japan and the Netherlands. Yes, Japan kicked everyone out except for the Dutch. They were like, no, only the Dutch can come in here. They didn't even want the Portuguese there. Libya and Egypt after the 40-Day War. Russia and Armenia. Russia always provides military aid to Armenia when needed. UAE and India. Yep, there's a lot of economic exchanging going on there. I like this interesting face by the UAE. Iran and Tajikistan are brothers, both speaking, both with Persian speakers. Sri Lanka and China both have best friends due to political crisis. Oh, yeah, that's right after Sri Lanka had all that chaos like a year ago. Austria and Hungary, historically, are they still friends to this day? I'm sure they're moderate friends. Philippines, USA. USA is Philippines' oldest ally. Counter also to China. Russia and Belarus. They are best buddies. Singapore and Thailand. And then finally, India and France. France always gives assurance of steadfast military support to India. Maybe India just doesn't want to support the British, so they became friends with the British's biggest rival. I like how some of these friendships are super well known, others not so much, and it was interesting learning about that. Again, that was by Pop-Up Data. Please go subscribe. And big thanks to my patrons. Help, this is the real Drew. I was kidnapped, and that's the imposter.
Drew's Argentinian
The slow,
grandpa.
depressing Portugal
Schengen,
Bryton
follow
Is,
amateur
Carmel
archaeology.
JohnDenver,
KirinoIsBestGirl,
Phresh Animations,
RyeThePie,
The Polish-Lithuanian
Commonwealth.
Commonwealth. His ransom is 5
ZaneyBoi,
fish,
and why am I doing this?
308 Negro Arroyo Lane.